with Get Your Geek On. I'm Aaron, this is Robert. We are here to talk Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4?
Episode 4, the whole world is watching. Spoiler review. We are going to be talking about the episode in detail. We've only got 2 episodes left after this one. Things are moving forward. There are some major developments in this one. So again, if you haven't watched the episode yet, I would advise to go watch it and then come back.
Yeah.
And watch our review. So, all right, initial thoughts on this episode, Aaron.
I liked it.
Yeah?
I actually liked where it went. I think we're finally getting to see John Walker's character arc kind of moving forward now. Mm-hmm. I like where everybody's at, actually. I like that now we have Wakanda's there. Yep. We have Falcon, Winter Soldier. We had Black Battlestar. We have John Walker. We have everybody now.
The Flag Smashers. Everybody but the Power Broker. We still don't know who the Power Broker is.
He's a cell phone.
So, I think we see the plot moves forward big time. We see that the Flag Smashers had the rest of their doses that they were planning on distributing.
So we were not lied to.
We don't know that is the full amount. Everyone is treating it as if this is the last of the Super Soldier Serum. If we know anything about the MCU, Steve Rogers had the only one. Then Isaiah Bradley had some. Then there were, the Winter Soldier has some. And, then there's the Assassins in Civil War. And, now the Flag Smashers. So, this Super Soldier Serum that apparently no one can replicate.
Everyone can replicate.
Has been replicated a lot of times. Let's just be honest.
No one knows, but everybody knows. No one.
I think that we see some more doses of Super Soldier Serum. Of course, we get a couple more Zemo speeches about gods among men and about this and how he really, he equates, this with supremacy, basically saying, if you take this, you want to elevate yourself above others. So you are the definition of a supremacist. And that's a really interesting conversation, especially when you look at what happens at the end of the episode and who takes it by choice. That's certainly an interesting development. We get that stuff with Zemo. Of course, you mentioned the Wakandans showing up. That was cool to have them there. Falcon and Bucky, still kind of working through the elements of their dynamic. Some of it's positive, some of it seems to not be. They do seem to be moving forward. And then, you had kind of, what we were expecting is Sam going to get a chance to talk to Carly? And we got that scene, and I think that, we talked about it on the last episode. Sam has been kind of, he's very empathetic. Yeah. I think is how I would describe him. And he even references, helping people with PTSD and trauma and those types of things. And obviously you have to have that ability to relate to people, the ability to empathize with people in order to do that effectively. And so we've seen him throughout this series, empathizing with Bucky, empathizing with John Walker, empathizing with the Flag Smashers. He has the ability to relate to people and understand what their motivations are and why they feel the way that they do. And he's always looking for, the way to arrive at a solution that's best for everyone without violence. Right. Which, it hasn't necessarily been his defining character trait in other... he's got machine guns and rockets and exploding people in Civil War and, all that stuff. But... certainly, we've seen him try to, relate to people and try and de-escalate situations. And so we see that again. And I think that we just continue to get more and more evidence that Sam is positioned as the moral center. Right. He is... If anyone's going to be Captain America, it's going to be Sam.
Yeah, because he's the closest to what Steve was. Good heart... good man, wants to do the right thing, tries to avoid as much violence. And let's face it, as much as Captain America gets into violence, he does try to avoid confrontations when he can. And I think that's what's good with Falcon. And I do want to touch back onto Zemo, actually, though. Yeah. Zemo's becoming one of my favorite characters right now. Yeah. I liked him in the movie. I thought he was an okay character.
Yeah, he was a good villain.
Those speeches, it gets you wondering a little bit. At least for me, I'm like, maybe, is Zemo right? He's more white than John, at least.
And I think that it's really interesting because again, his perspective is a unique one, and it has nuggets of things that you go, man, that's a really good point.
Exactly.
But just like with the Flag Smashers, or just like with Killmonger, and this is kind of, I actually saw something online this week where it's like, this is kind of a very villain trope, is they actually give you things where you're like, I agree with you, and then they have them do something that really crosses the line.
I don't agree.
And so, like, in Black Panther, for instance, it was like Killmonger, we were kind of on his side, and then he shot his girlfriend. And it was like, oh, wow, we can't agree with that.
Yeah.
And from there, he did more things, but that was like, at that point in the movie, we were kind of like, this Killmonger guy is not, oh, no, you can't just kill your girlfriend.
Yeah, it's like
that's not okay.
And I'm kind of waiting for that moment with Zemo, that he's going to do something that we're like...
Yeah. And Carly had her moment with blowing up, a building.
Yep.
And so, yeah, definitely we think, with Zemo, has he done that yet? I don't know that he really did it in Civil War.
I don't think so.
He certainly manipulated, the pieces on the chessboard. He did, kill some people. I mean, he blew up the UN and killed King T'Chaka and also murdered whatever doctor he was impersonating, and so, like, he's not a good guy.
No.
He killed their scientist in the last episode, and I love how he was, like, trying to gaslight Sam about, like, we don't know what happened, and Sam was like, I was there! You shot him in the head.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because maybe he shot himself in the head.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say what happened? Literally me. I was there. Like, what are you talking about?
That's true. And then I like how that kind of comes around now, though. No one knows what happened with Zemo and the serum and stuff like that. And we do see him kind of confront Carly, shoots her in the stomach, which I don't know how she's alive, technically, but...
Well, I mean, she's got the super soldier serum, so...
Does it give him regeneration, though?
I mean, yeah, I think that their metabolism is faster. I mean, we think, like, back to the first Avenger when Cap took it and he couldn't get drunk.
Oh, that's right.
And so they do have... I mean, obviously, we've seen them, like, we saw Bucky in whatever it was, episode 2, like, jump out of the plane and drop through a tree and land on the ground, and, like,
Not the superhero landing.
And he had the wind knocked out of him. Yeah. And then he was fine. It's like, the rest of us would die.
Yeah, we'd be dead.
Right? So, I think that clearly they're saying that, that this doesn't make you invulnerable.
Because, yeah, she was bleeding all over the place.
Right. You can still be injured and even potentially killed. And, I mean, we think back to the Winter Soldier at the end. I mean, Cap gets his face beat in by Bucky.
Yeah.
To the point where he ends up in the hospital. But then he recovers and he's fine.
Okay.
So I think that they do have some sort of, whether it's...
healing factor.
Yeah, whether you want to use the comics version to say healing factor, whatever it is, they are able to, recover much faster than a normal person.
And that's true. And I like, though, that Zemo hasn't changed his character. He is very much like, he didn't even try to kill her anymore. It was destroy the serum. Yeah. Because she gets shot, she has all the serums on her. Yeah. They spill all over the place. And what's the first thing he does? Is this it? Smash, smash, smash. And I'm like, he doesn't care about her anymore. He cares about stopping making people like her. Yeah. And he just destroys all but one, who we see John Walker pick one up. Right. And I love that that's what we get. And we have two different conversations, because I want to start with this now, too. Yeah. We have Falcon and Winter Soldier, Bucky and Sam, talking about, would you take the serum?
Well, no, Zemo is the one that asked Sam.
Oh, you're right, Zemo, I'm sorry. Yeah. Zemo and Sam, because Zemo woke up from being unconscious after getting hit with the shield. Yeah. So he wakes up and he asks Sam, would you take it? He says no. And very quick, and Zemo comments, that was a quick one. Yeah. So he believes him, and they have their discussion about that. And then we see later on, John
Walker and Battlestar.
Battlestar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lamar talk about it as well, and John is basically, or Lamar is like, yeah, for sure I'd take it, like, not even a second thought.
And again, and you have some of that conversation about, what you can use it for. Right. How you would use it to save people. Right. And of course, when we look at John Walker, and he is, he's a soldier, right? In his Medals of Freedom, they talk about, that was the worst day of his life. How many people they died that day? How many more could they have saved if they had had the serum? Yeah. So he's telling himself that having the serum will turn him, into someone that will be able to save even more people than he already does. Yeah. But it's almost like, and we're seeing the mentality between, him and Steve. Steve wanted to take the serum because he didn't like bullies. Right. I want to, like, his motivation was true and honest to, people are being bullied and I'm going to stop the bully. That's my goal. And we have John kind of saying I want to save people, I want to help people, and the stronger I am, the more people I can save.
Right.
But what's the first thing he does when he has the serum? He kills someone.
Yeah.
And so that's, the first thing Steve does when he gets the serum is he saves a little kid.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
So we've already seen so many different ways that this goes, and I want to talk about it very briefly because in between that conversation that he has with Battlestar, whether we don't know the timeline exactly of when he shot himself up with the serum.
Right.
I think it was after that conversation.
I really do think
that's my
too.
guess. Is like he was running that past his buddy, and that gave him the kind of the green light in his mind. Like, yes, it's worth it. You can do this. And so we don't actually see him take it, but we see him come up against someone that also has the serum, and I love that. You see the difference. Because one guy is a regular guy that's taking the super soldier serum, and then you have a guy who's already an elite fighter, an elite soldier, and he takes it, and like you see immediately when that guy, the other guy figures out that he's taking it, he's like,
He even says,
crap.
"Oh shit!" Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm done. Like I don't want to. Like I want to get out of here because if this guy has now taken this step up, I can't compete with that.
Yeah.
And at first, it made me think when they were first fighting, I like got some Civil War vibes of when like Tony and Cap are fighting, and you see that Cap was better at hand-to-hand fighting, but then Tony was able to use his technology to kind of override that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh okay, like that's what they're gonna do is they're gonna have John Walker be the superior hand-to-hand fighter, but then this guy's able to tap into the super soldier to defeat him, and then it was like, oh no, he already took it. Like oh no, he's just gonna ramp it up, and like now all of a sudden you go, oh crap.
Especially when you see him throw that shield for the first time and it gets stuck in the wall. And I was like, oh, he already took it. Yep. Like, the moment it went into that wall, I was like, oh, now we're done.
Yep.
And I do want to talk about, like, we had that fight scene, and I really, really did enjoy the Wakanda guard, I can't remember their exact name. Dora Milaje show up, and that was a cool fight scene.
And it was like... It was a perfect fight scene because of, again, the motivations of the characters. And you look at, John Walker, once again, he's an instigator. Like he starts the fights.
He was.
And that's, again, another major difference between him and Steve. Steve is always the guy that he's never going to hit first. He's always going to be the, I will defend, I will protect, but I'm not going to attack. Like, he's not that guy. And we see, even in Civil War, Tony throws the first blow. And that's very in keeping with who Steve is as a character, is he's going to be the protector. He's going to be the defender, the reactor. Yeah. And John Walker is like, no, I'm going to, antagonize these people.
Who are superior fighters than him even.
Which pisses him off. I mean, that's kind of the first, we've seen it building over several episodes, but that is definitely in this episode when he gets his butt whooped by... And he even says they aren't even super soldiers. Yeah. And you can see that feeling of inadequacy. Like he's, I'm supposed to be Captain America. I'm supposed to be the best fighter, and I'm getting my butt whooped. And he's not okay with it.
Yeah, like every time we've seen him in a fight, he loses. He's lost every single fight he's been in, but he's always justified it was, oh, they were super soldiers. I can't compete with that. And now we have them who are just superior fighters because, these women probably have trained all their life kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. And so has he. And that's the point, is that he is also an extremely high skilled, fighter, and he couldn't stand toe to toe with them.
I wish we'd get a little bit more about them because we know at least probably from 18 to now he's been trained. How long have they been trained? Were they trained like Spartans, like from the age 5?
Yeah.
Because Spartans are trained the moment they could walk. They were trained to fight.
Right.
So are they the same way? That's why they knew how to beat them. And I almost felt like he got even more humiliated when they threw the spear in the shield, and he stuck.
That was so great.
I was like, oh wow! Like,
and again, that level of precision to be able to do that. It was so cool. And then she took the shield.
I thought she was gonna take it.
I thought she was too. I loved the moment when they deactivated Bucky's arm and made it fall off. I was like, oh, that's so awesome.
It's so raw as Bucky's like.
And Sam was even like, did you know they could do that? And he's like, no, I did not.
Yeah. It's like, nope, didn't know any of that. And that's why I kind of like the fight scene, because we see these little quirks, we see like you said, the spear through the shield, we see the other girl kick it like Steve would and caught it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, it's like showing that anyone can use a shield almost. She almost is kind of taunting him, I felt like, with that little move, and then the girl tells her to leave it, Because you knew she was going to walk away with it. It's like, well, this is my trophy. I beat him. So I felt like she wanted to take it. And then I did like before all that, though, when it's just Battlestar and Captain America fighting them. And you get
Sam, Bucky, and Zemo just kind of watching, this is interesting. And then
Zemo's still drinking his tea or something.
Yeah, and of course both Sam and Bucky intervene at moments that it looks like they're about to kill someone, which that didn't make sense to me. Like the Dora Milaje weren't going to kill Battlestar and John Walker, and so it was like, why did they feel the need to intervene? Because to me, you let them defeat them to the point that the fight ends.
Yeah.
Like, that's what, because I didn't get the feeling at any point that they were actually going to kill John Walker or Battlestar.
And see, I want to comment on that. Maybe that's why when Sam was like, should we help? And Bucky's like, good job, or whatever he says. Like, he's just taunting them more.
Yeah, well, he says, whatever he says to John, it's like looking good, John.
Yeah, looking good or something. And it's like, that's so wrong. But I feel like Bucky knows they wouldn't kill, but Sam doesn't know anything about this culture or these people. He may have thought, you are going to kill him.
But Bucky's the first one that intervenes.
And that's true, too.
And Sam is telling him to, but, again, and this is a dynamic that we've seen throughout the episodes, and definitely in this one, these two still don't trust each other.
No,
whether it's that moment, or whether it's later in the episode when Sam is trying to talk Carly down, and you've got, John Walker initially said he was going to give him 10 minutes, and then he's like, no, I'm going in, and Bucky initially says, I'm going to stop you, and then John, kind of gives like a, if he gets hurt, it's on your hands, like you'll have blood on your hands. And, and then the next thing we see is they all show up, meaning that Bucky obviously at that point gave in, again demonstrating that he doesn't trust Sam as much as we, the audience, do.
Yeah.
Like, we are seeing what Sam is, that conversation he's having, and we're going, he's connecting to Carly. Yeah. Whether it was going to work ultimately, we don't really know.
No.
But, that was my biggest issue that I have with this episode. I want to break real quick is just how many times nobody's watching Zemo.
Oh yeah, he got away.
When the Wakandans have that big fight, he gets away. And when later on when they're or I think it's earlier in the episode, I guess, is when they're having that fight with Carly with the initial one.
Oh yeah, they just leave him there,
and they leave him handcuffed. He's a elite soldier. Like, he's obviously is going to be able to get out of handcuffs.
Like, you don't think he probably has a handcuff key on him somewhere? Like I don't know.
Or he can just pick the hand. Like, it was so frustrating that they just, like, every time they just, like, let him go. And, everything with, him, like, connecting to the kids and all that stuff. Like, I love Zemo and I love that he's able to do those things. But it is frustrating to me that Sam and Bucky
let him run
are just kind of like not keeping a close eye on him, and that extends to John Walker when he then puts him in handcuffs, but then he gets away, and of course they then he does get recaptured, but by the end of this episode
he's gone.
Yeah.
We already lost him.
We don't know where he is. Maybe the Wakandans know where he is. Maybe they're gonna get there. Mm-hmm. That was another gripe I had, is when Bucky comes back in and he says the Wakandans are here. He should have told Sam that, and I like that he's telling Sam that, but why is he telling Zemo?
Yeah.
Like, why is he letting Zemo in on this? Yeah. Because, that's... Giving Zemo information is the easiest way for him to outthink you.
Yeah.
Like, if he has all the information, then he's going to, like... This is his place, so of course it's got an escape hatch. Like, that he's going to be able to get out through. But, maybe if he's not prepared for the Wakandans, he doesn't already have that in place. I mean, again...
It was frustrating on that one. And then for me, the frustrating part was where, pretty much at the end of the episode, they know where John is. And they're like, oh, John's coming. I'm like, but how did they haven't explained how he got a tracker on him. That they know he's there.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, where is he? Why are they worried about where he's going when they're having the conversation with Carly, and he's obviously going to a whole other building? He's not going to the building they're at, but they only go there because Carly and them all start running over there.
I think, Sam, that storyline, Sam was basically like, I want to know when he moves, because that means he's moving on them.
Yeah.
And so, however Sharon was able to track him, that's what she did, and so... then they're able to do that, and I think at that point it's kind of, Sharon drops the line, like, he found them or they found him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, this was the setup. As we know, like, Carly talked about divide and kill Captain America. That was their plan.
That's what she wanted.
And that's what they were going to do. And they were about to attempt it. Whether or not it would have been successful, we don't know. And
someone else dies.
Someone steps in the way.
So Lamar gets basically punched so freaking hard into a pillar that cracks made of concrete, instantly killing him.
Yep.
So Lamar's dead. Battlestar's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what breaks him, And I think that also breaks some of her loyalty to the Flag Smashers because they all freaked out that she killed him. That guy holding Captain America, let's go. He lets go of John.
Which was weird, and I think it's kind of hard because, again, they live with it, the decision that she made at the end of the last episode where they kill him, they have, like a news report that they're all listening to, and they all still seem to be with her, like they're going, like, we're still on your side. So then why is killing Lamar why is that the line that they were unwilling to cross when in the last episode they seemed to be fine, like maybe taken aback, but, nobody abandoned her after that. It was like, okay, we're still with you. We're still on your team. And so I'm almost wondering if it was more of a, oh shit reaction. Mm-hmm. We just killed this dude's best friend, and he's going to go ape shit.
And see, like, I want to give that to you, but how many of them in the room know he has the super soldier serum right now? Carly doesn't know, obviously, because she hasn't seen it. The guy holding him doesn't know yet. Maybe one of the people in the room, if it was one of the guys from earlier, maybe.
Yeah, the one guy.
But that's about it. Like, unless he's all of a sudden called everybody, hey, he has a serum, which we don't know, we don't see it on camera.
Yeah.
But my thing is, the only reason I think that they feel like a line was crossed is that they see Lamar still gives his life to protect his Captain America, and the thing was, we want to kill the symbol. They don't care about the man. They want to kill the symbol of Captain America.
Yeah.
So maybe, Battlestar dying was not part of the plan because it's like, well, if you kill him, what's that going to do? But now we accidentally killed this guy who gave his life. I don't know. Maybe they're not okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was odd, but I will say that inadvertently they have fulfilled Zemo's plan of destroying the symbol because now everybody saw John Walker, Captain America, murder someone. Down,
and I thought he was gonna cut his head off. I
thought that's what they were gonna do too.
I was like,
that's super dark. But no, he does the same move that Steve did against Iron Man.
Yeah.
Except instead of disabling an arc reactor,
disable his heart,
caves the guy's chest in. And through several smashes and lots of blood on that shield.
Yeah, and at
literal
this point,
blood.
It was in a public forum, and it's been recorded by dozens of people out there with their phones out, recording Captain America killing an innocent man in their eyes because no one knows he's part of the Flag Smashers.
I mean, and I'm sure that'll be part of the propaganda. That'll be like, well, this is a Flag Smasher, like so they'll put their spin on it. But I think that whether you agree that he's an innocent man or not, he was certainly already in a defenseless position. He was defeated. And so he was unnecessarily killed. Yeah. Whether you want to say he was innocent or not, there's a total different discussion there.
Exactly.
But I think that this was very akin to, the conversations that America is having, that the world is having with, like, police brutality and things like that. Like, this was, like, going too far when you didn't have to. Maybe this guy did represent a threat, but at that point, the threat had been neutralized. There was no longer necessary to take lethal action. Mm-hmm. And John Walker did.
Yeah. And that's the same with John. The last 2 episodes, we've seen him starting to crack. As you said, when the 10 minutes, he's pacing again like that tiger in a cage. Just, okay, I don't know, and back and forth.
And I think it's really telling the conversations that he had later with Lamar, where they talked about, their time in Afghanistan, and they talked about, like the worst day of his life. I mean, clearly, John Walker has PTSD.
Right.
And part of that is a guilt over people that he hasn't saved, right? Like, that is driving him.
That's survivor's guilt,
And so, that is part of, in that scene where he's trying to, when Sam is talking to Carly, he's saying, I need, like, if something happens to Sam, he's on my team, that's on me, because I can prevent it. And so I have to, I can't let it happen. I have to go. Lamar dying on his watch. Mm-hmm. That's his sidekick. That's the guy he brought into this. he had the super soldier serum. He only had enough for one. Lamar didn't. Lamar dies. Like, that guilt is absolutely driving him in that moment. And he has a very emotional reaction. And he absolutely kills one of the Flag Smashers.
And that's where I'm wondering where it's going to go. Is Carly going to use this for her side too? Like, look, Captain America just killed one of our own for no reason. And how each side's going to play it differently. Sure. Carly's going to play it for her. America's going to try to play it for, the Flag Smashers are the evil ones. So I am curious if next episode's going to be more about who's going to have the better propaganda, essentially, and who's going to join what side. Because now the lines are getting a little more definite. We're getting a lot more of, like, okay, he's on this side, he's on this side. Sam is trying very hard to ride that middle line still, and it's wavering a little bit, and now I'm sure it's going to really waver a lot.
And that's the thing, is, like, Sam and Bucky still have, they have no love for John Walker.
Oh, no.
At the beginning of this episode, but
they didn't want that to happen.
They get worked, they have to kind of work together because basically, John Walker pitbulls his way in and says, "We're doing this together." And that's not giving you a choice anymore. Yeah. And so they kind of have to work alongside him. They don't hate him as much as Bucky probably hates that he's holding the shield. I don't think they hate him personally. Yeah. They don't have necessarily any animosity for him. Yeah. But I definitely think, both Sam and Bucky, seeing that he now has taken this serum, that is definitely going to push them to be 100% in opposition to John Walker.
That's the other thing, I think, that with John, Lamar was kind of the compass, still, the moral compass, a little bit, because we do see where Zemo, Falcon, and Winter Soldier have now an informant into getting into the funeral and catching Kari. Yeah. And the only one that's really helping them out of Lamar and John is Lamar. He's like, give him a chance. Like, maybe they are onto something. And then John gives in because his friend gives in. So now I wonder, Lamar's dead. Is John now just going to go on a rampage until he gets what he wants? He knows he has the super soldier serum. He has the shield. And he has the military mind now. How unstoppable is he going to be now? Is he going to be like a human wrecking ball kind of thing? Yeah. Is he going to be just some, like, okay, I'm just going to grieve? I don't think they're going to write him off. I think he's now going to be almost the villain. I think he's going to start borderlining that I'm a villain now.
The pieces on the chessboard are moving. You've got, still an unknown in the power broker that is, has unresolved stuff with the Flag Smashers, with Carly in particular, that, he's going to track her down and kill her. You've got the Flag Smashers trying to, in their mind, create a better world, but are they using tactics that, they shouldn't be? And Sam, has some very, straight conversations with Carly, being like, this isn't the way to do this. Yeah. I agree with what you're talking about,
but we can't do it this way.
You're taking steps that you shouldn't be taking.
Exactly.
And so we've got the Flag Smashers, then we've got, of course, John Walker, who now has the super soldier serum, and you've got Zemo now as a wild card, having escaped. You've got the Wakandans still in this, and then you've got Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I'm not sure what their mission is going to be. Zemo keeps trying to tell Sam, you can't save Carly. She's beyond it. I think Sam's still going to try to.
Sam's moral compass will keep him there. That's what Steve would do.
And think back to the Winter Soldier, and Civil War. Steve would not give up on Bucky. No. In Winter Soldier, he's ready to lay down his own life. Yeah. Because he says, "You're my friend." That's which is a great little moment. You're my friend. You're my mission. As Bucky's like beating him to a pulp. And
I feel like that we're almost gonna get a rinse, wash, repeat of that with her. Yeah. But I feel she is gonna die. I don't think she's gonna live after this, because not only do we have John wanting to kill her, we're gonna have Power Broker, who's already threatened her in this episode again, that he's going to kill her. Yeah. And then you have Zemo, who also wants to kill her. Yeah, so we got 3 people who are going to try to assassinate her.
I think, and getting into now a little bit of speculation, as we've kind of talked about the episode, so now talking about where it's going, I think that Carly is going to sacrifice herself. So she is going to die, but I think she's going to have that turn where she is going to, whether it's to save Sam, whether it's to save some of her compatriots, whoever it is, I think she is going to die, but she's going to do it in she's going to get like a heroic, noble death.
Okay.
That's my feeling on this. I think by the end of this episode, John Walker will absolutely be a villain. I don't think he'll be Captain America anymore.
No.
I think he'll, whether
up.
it's U.S. agent or something else. Like I think he'll be alive. I think he'll be free. I don't think he's going to be like in prison or anything. But I don't think he'll have the shield anymore. I think Sam is going to have it by the end of the series.
Yeah.
I think Zemo is going to still be free.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I'm not sure about the Power Broker, whether or not we're going to find him or not. And it is really interesting because I think that, I'm not sure where this series leaves Bucky. Like, that's the wild card to me, is because we started off the series with him having kind of unresolved guilt over his actions as the Winter Soldier.
Right.
He hasn't really revisited that. I did love the flashback sequence in this where he was in Wakanda as she's saying the words, and he's like
down crying.
Right. Well, and he's like reliving all of the trauma and hoping against hope that he's not going to be brainwashed when she finishes saying the words. Right. And then that release when he realizes that he's free. Like, that was a really great scene.
That was a powerful thing. I think we needed that finally.
And so I like that. That's really the first time we've gone back to that, storyline with him.
Right.
We've got 2 more episodes. I mean, obviously we're going to have to link back up with the old man from the first episode that he, has to tell him about his son at some point.
Yeah.
We have to pick that thread back up.
I hope
Don't
so.
give me that WandaVision crap where we don't finish threads, where we don't tell you who the missing person in the town is. I'm still mad about that.
What if he is the Power Broker? The old man.
No.
He says no. Hey, at least I didn't say Dr. Doom again.
Yeah. No, now you just did.
But Dr. Doom's gonna show up at the end. Zemo's gonna go to somebody, you're gonna see a green cape fly around, and it's gonna be Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with you. Here's what I think. I think next episode, Kari's gonna die. I don't think she's going to die in the 6th episode. I think she's going to die now.
You think she's going to end in the next episode? Okay.
Yes. And here's what I think, though. I don't think she's going to sacrifice herself. I think it's going to be the talk again, like he's going to try one more time. But again, we have 3 people who are ready to kill her. And I think it's going to be one of those, Sam's going to start living with the grief, too, that he couldn't save her. Because it's going to be one of those, last second, catch the flare from the sniper as a bullet hits her dead. Something like that. One of those, I should have seen it coming. As a soldier, I should have been... Maybe they're in a pillbox and he's like, oh crap, I should have realized this is, easy way to kill us, and something like that. I think she's going to die this episode because I think what's going to happen is the last episode, I think either John's going to get picked up or something's going to happen to him in this one, or it's going to happen at the early part of episode 6 and Zemo's going to finish as the main villain of episode 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
I almost don't think we're going to get the Power Broker. We're more than halfway through now, and all we keep getting is the Power Broker, the Power Broker. Who is this?
Yeah.
Is it the engineer?
Reportedly, there is a major character that shows up in episode 5. So Dr. Doom. Whether that's Power Broker, and that's based on a podcast that I listened to that they got kind of a tip. They didn't want to spoil it for anyone, so they didn't say who it was. They didn't even say whether it was an established character or whether it's a new character. So it could be the Power Broker, or it could be someone else. It could be our last live-action appearance of Chadwick Boseman. I mean, we don't know. They shot a lot of this before he passed. Yeah. And so, if that happens,
I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
absolutely gonna cry if he shows up. I don't know, because the Wakandans, their story isn't done either, because they're still gonna be after Zemo.
And that's why I feel like Carly's story is going to end in the next one, because we have to wrap up the Wakandans and Zemo in episode 6, I think.
Yeah, we've got an hour and a half left, basically, between 2 episodes.
Well,
about 45
minutes, yeah, that's right. So yeah, I really think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be, her story arc has to end next episode, so the final climax is going to be Bucky, Falcon, the Wakandas, and Zemo. I think John may or may not be in the 6th episode. I think either his arc's going to end in the 5th episode, and we're going to get a 6th episode with Falcon running with the shield. I don't know. I don't think Kari's going to make it after episode 5. I think she will die there.
We'll see.
So let us know down below, too, what you think, who's going to make it, who's not, and what do you think of the next couple episodes. What do you think of the series so far? Do you think it's going the way it should? Do you not like it? I'm sure at the last episode, me and Robert will give a final tally of what we think. But let us know what you think down below in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. check out our other reviews too, WandaVision and any of the other movies we reviewed as well from the entire MCU story arc.
Yeah,
that was a fun thing to do.
Yeah, we have 23 movie reviews of the MCU, and when Black Widow finally comes out, we'll review that one too.
And oh my god, that comes out in 2 months.
Yeah,
right. So June. So look out for that one as well, guys.
And Loki is coming out in July. I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming. I don't know if we're gonna do weekly reviews for the Bad Batch when that comes out, but I'm sure we'll talk about it because that's a fun show, a fun group. Star Wars content, Marvel content, anything and everything. We talk about it here,
and we will. So definitely keep your eyes out, and remember to hit that subscribe button so you can check out all the videos. On that one, I'm Aaron. That's Robert. Stay geeky, guys, and get your geek on.